Welcome to Charts Today. My name's David Linton, and today's edition for Tuesday, the 8th of June, comes to you from London. And we start by looking at the dollar. This is my weekly, my daily, and my 60-minute cloud chart with the corresponding point and figure charts and their targets. So the dollar is actually fairly steady the last few days. We saw a little bit of a seesaw at the end of last week, but we are bearish on those medium and long-term charts. The key thing is, can we hold this January low? And that's what we're looking for really on the dollar. Against the euro, euro is looking stronger than the dollar on all three time frames, and we are seeing upside targets. The 163 target not yet activated, but we do have one some 20% higher. So if the dollar makes new lows, then we're seeing a deterioration potential of 20%, and that will correspond to a rise in the euro. Looking at sterling, we're sitting steady at 141.38, and we are again just nudging that high that we saw back in February. Upside targets to the high 140s still very much in place. Against the euro, we're sitting sterling at 116, just weakening slightly there on the 60-minute chart, but we are seeing still bull trends for sterling having the upper hand there. Bitcoin falling back to $32,900, so we're seeing a significant weakening there. We've got targets to 32,120 and 31,900, so those targets have been in place. The big one is, will we deactivate this downside target? And we do that if we fall into the 20s, so we need to just keep an eye out for Bitcoin falling lower. We see the head and shoulders pattern showing up there quite clearly. The S&P 500 index was down slightly last night. The Nasdaq actually was up slightly. The futures are just slightly down today, so a flat opening looks likely. The VIX volatility sitting quite low at 16.5. That's the lowest really that we've seen for quite some time, looking back to last year. So we are seeing the markets fairly taking things in their stride, not fearful. The fear index is low. Looking at the FTSE future, we're up slightly this morning. The DAX in Germany down slightly. Europe generally flat. The CAC 40 in Paris up 0.2%. Japan was little changed as well. We're seeing pretty much across the board markets not making big moves here in stocks. We see China was down 0.5%. India down slightly, but its trend is still up, pushing ever higher. Bullish on all three time frames with big upside targets still to play for, and the Aussie market holding on to its new all-time highs there as well. We're seeing soft commodities continuing to rise. Wheat 1.2% higher, corn 1.14% higher, so we are seeing that there. Gold sitting at 1893. Into bullish territory, bullish on all three time frames, but just struggling to back above that 1900 level. And silver sitting at 2770, just waiting for this big breakout in silver. We see this triangle forming here. $30 is the key to break there. Looking at US 10-year yields sitting at 156. They dived quite significantly on Friday, and we've stayed there. Short-term bearish, possibly back to 150. But the key thing is we have got the big upside targets still in place. We have got downside targets, but neither of them are activated at the moment. The German Bund back above the 170 level, and this is the Bund future. And so for the moment, bond market's just holding that critical 170 level. Taking a look at the energy mix now, we've got Brent crude down 0.6%, just struggled at that 72 level, and we are starting to see some downtrends coming into place. WTI also just pushing a little bit lower. US nat gas edging higher, so looking okay there. We've got good upside targets. Looking at coal, little changed here, sitting at 81. The big story at the moment is emissions. We had a bullish engulfing candle there on the daily chart yesterday, so that's good news. And we found support at that €49 mark. So for the moment, emissions look set for recovery. We've got a really big upside target here on the 1 minute chart, and that's significant, and on the 10-minute chart. So it looks like emissions will go higher. Notice that the downside target wasn't activated. The upside target is still very much in place. So looking like a full recovery coming here. US nat gas, MVP, UK nat gas. Still pretty range bound, up 3.4% this morning. TTF actually breaking higher, so that's looking better. TTF chart looking much better actually. And if we look at winter gas TTF, we see here the breakout as well. So gas markets looking much, much stronger. Looking at German power this morning, also pushing higher here, up 1%. And Nordic power is still below the cloud there. So that's we were neutral Nordic power whilst we hold that 30 euro mark. So for now, that's the key. All eyes are on this emissions chart today. And that's what we'll keep an eye on. That's it for now. Until tomorrow, happy charting. See you then.